Morning, guys. How are we doing? Morning, NM, Zeems, Cypher, Ziffer, Luke, Troy. How are all you guys doing? Hope we're all good this morning. Looking at GJ at the moment. Looks like you could be in for a good day, guys. Honestly, I'm great. Thank you, NM. Great, thanks. Luke, I thought you were gone until Christmas. When I saw your name here, I was a little bit shocked. How's it seems, my boy? After moves, yeah, yesterday was an amazing day. Last night, so I was sitting on a call with Zeems, and we were like watching the markets basically, and some of these moves last night were incredible on GJ and Gold. Made a plan to be here. I do appreciate that so much, Luke. Thank you. Gonna do a market breakdown for you guys just now. Just sorting a few things out here. Okay, let's get into GJ, because I did do some analysis already on GJ, but I will break it down completely for you guys. For those of you that don't know and aren't in the Telegram, I took a very interesting position. I took a swing trade based off of the weekly time frame to continue basically to this level up here. And Kevin Kim, thank you so much for the sub. I do appreciate it. How's it, Alessandro? How are you doing? Last night you said you would explain the GJ trade. Missed it. I would have done a one lot buy at 150.46. 150.46. Okay, so quite far down here. I'm gonna explain the GJ swing trade that I took. So as you guys know, I'm not really a swing trader. I'm more of a day trader. But this was the opportunity which I've been looking at for a while, and obviously with the bad volume coming into December, and I'm not going to be trading as much probably from next week onwards, this was a good opportunity to kind of hold a long-term position after kind of establishing a directional bias on the higher time frame, so the bigger picture. So 2 weeks ago when I made the market breakdown video, I was talking about this weekly support level which we've rejected so many times. Once we formed support at this level again, it was pretty much more or less obvious that, okay, now what we can start doing, if we break the high of this weekly candle, is moving up within this weekly range that we're in. So this is the weekly range, roughly about this. This was a fake out to the top side of the weekly range. We faked out, so we closed above it and we came back in and retested the bottom. Once we came to the bottom, we came to this weekly support level. We formed support at that weekly support level, indicating that we're respecting the weekly support level, and there's a good chance that we're going to continue bullish if we get the right candle confirmations. So the beginning of this week was basically this wick down, and then as the week's gone on, we've started seeing that bullish market structure on all time frames kind of kick in, and we've been able to scale into the buys on a short-term basis throughout the week. You guys have seen that on the streams, on the Instagram, all that sort of thing. Then last night, we came and broke the previous weekly high. And what gives this so many confirmations is obviously we have so much bullish market structure. At the moment, I'm still 4v0 bullish on all key time frames. But what is added confidence to us is, as you can see, this weekly candle low was respected by this weekly candle low. And what I always say with that is that means that the sellers' pressure is dying out. The sellers are leaving the market and the buyers are taking control. And of course, when you see that on like a 30-minute or 1 hour, it's short term. So the results are going to be short term. You're going to see buyers in the short term. When that's happening on such a bigger scale, so on the weekly time frames, it means that there's a good chance that in the long term, we're going to continue this bullish trend. So what I did was, my position at the moment looks something like this. Took the buy at the break of the high. Obviously, I'm targeting the next resistance level, above the clean candle, so basically where the next weekly resistance is going to be. Of course, I'll secure profits along the way. This is 300 pips away. I'm definitely not expecting to get 300 pips out of it, and my stop loss is going to be below the current weekly candle, because we shouldn't break this. And obviously I'm going to manage the trade, because as we drop down to the lower time frames, you can see there are areas that if we do start breaking yesterday's daily low, things like that, it's kind of an indication that, okay, we're not going to continue. Another added confluence to this whole scenario is if we go here and look on the weekly, right? We were on the daily. We were in a daily consolidation. That was this over here. Yesterday's daily candle closed above the daily resistance and broke us out of that daily consolidation. Now, what we more or less need is a retest of this daily resistance, and then that continuation. We've already broken yesterday's daily high, which is telling me that bullish momentum is still strong in the market, because we did that so early on today. But we have all of this daily range to trade into. So this long-term trade makes a lot of sense. If you basically look at how short-term entries can be taken, but on the higher time frames, because what we need to remember is that higher time frames carry a lot more weight than the lower time frames. There's a lot more confirmations in higher time frames. So when you start seeing lower time frame setups on the higher time frames, you can start executing on them. Of course, I've lowered my risk a lot. The lot size which I normally take is a lot smaller than that. But yeah, of course I'm gonna treat this like a normal trade. I'm gonna manage it. I'm not just sticking a stop loss there and a TP there and hoping it hits the one. It's more so I am looking for a longer term hold. Due to upcoming market conditions, less volume, not gonna be able to day trade as much, and a setup which just makes a lot of sense to me. So I hope that makes sense, guys. If you have any questions about it, please do ask. Let me check out some of these charts coming in the Telegram here. We have a chart from Alessandro, which looks like a trade which was taken on euro dollar. I have to always guess, because I think this is Italian, I'm assuming, euro dollar. So I hope that this is euro dollar. But yeah, closed above previous level of resistance, retested, stop loss below the current 30-minute, or this, yeah, current 30-minute, or this looks like it would be the 1 hour, because if your stop loss below this week and you have clean candles to the left, this makes a lot of sense. Did you go through the structure though? Because from this picture I can't exactly tell the structure. No, it's XAU. You see, you need to send these. You need to switch this back to English. Yeah. So I did see that. Okay, if it's gold, I know that structure is 2v2. So actually 3v1 bullish. So this makes a lot of sense then. Buys are definitely my structural bias on gold. Gold in Italian is oro. Now I'll never forget that now. Euro dollar. Oro dollar. To be honest, it's not a bad guess. Oro sounds like euro. This could have been euro USD for all we know. But yeah, makes a lot of sense. I like the idea of trading into the clear candles. I think structure is on your side overall, and you've got this break of the previous resistance level, highest closing candle over here. I like that you didn't take the trade on the following candle, because this didn't break the previous candle high, or it did slightly but not by enough, and that you took it on the candle which broke the candle which closed above clearly. So that was the following candle after it wicked down and pushed up. So you just manage the trade now. You know, I've spoken. Well, we've gone through this before on stream. You know how to manage risk with the 5-minute time frame and that sort of stuff. So yeah, looking at gold now. This is, yeah. So you could just be getting the downward wick on the new 30-minute and then continuation above here. The problem is you are kind of forming resistance on a previous level of resistance. So I would start to worry about this. I think I've never seen a Euro USD chart in my entire life. I'm pretty sure you can trade it. Yeah, you can. Maybe I need to change my charts to Italian. Brush up on my Italian. News-wise, guys, we have a lot of pound. This is the only thing that could mess up my swing trade. If we get some shit numbers here, or some really bad numbers, we are going to, obviously the pound value is gonna decrease, and then we're gonna start coming down, and we could start breaking some structural levels, which I'm pretty worried about. So only problem with this swing trade, but that is the problem with swing trading, is you have these long-term holds, but it doesn't take into consideration some fundamental news which could come in and, you know, ruin your whole trade. So I am wary of this news coming in at 2 p.m. today. This will be just before New York session. So yeah, and there's a lot of it as well. Other than that, to be honest, tomorrow tomorrow there's retail sales, not too high impact, obviously reasonably, but nothing too serious. If I carry on sorry, I didn't even get to finish breaking down G-Jals, too focused on Oro and Euro. So in your opinion, if this 30-minute flips bullish and breaks a previous high, there's no new trade? Well, so my entry on this, I think you got the optimal entry if this works out. As you can see how my chart is marked, and I was actually looking for a close above this level. This probably would have done, and then maybe a break above this point, because there is some good range above this. Let me just check here. It's about 20 pips of range still from that candle high to the next resistance level. So I'd say that, you know, you could add a position, but you see, I always mark out the top of the wicks, not just like basically what you would have is a zone in there, right? So you can see there's a candle closed within that zone, so technically it's the highest closing candle. But in situations like this, after such a big push, you want to see a clear candle close above that level. So yeah, I would obviously be worried if this forms resistance at this level. There's a good chance that we could maybe come down to this support level and then only start moving up. So you need to be wary of that. Because if we're forming resistance at previous levels of resistance, it means something. And usually that something is we're going down a little bit. Cup and handle. I haven't heard that term in a very long time. To be honest, I'm not too sure. I don't trade formations or anything like that. Just trade what I see. Candlestick formations. But I have heard the term cup and handle before. But I couldn't say yes or no. I'm not too sure. You're right. Thanks. All clear. Yeah, no stress. Just, yeah, you need to watch out for this resistance level. Especially after such a big push. So this is how I normally gauge whether I should wait for a candle close above just the body level or the wick level, right? So if we've had a huge push, I'm expecting some exhaustion and then the candle close above the wick level. So then I take into consideration the whole thing. If it's a situation, let me try find where we had a great example of it. Yeah, this is a perfect example of it right here. This support level, when we had these sells on gold the other day. Sorry, let me just move this. So this was essentially your support level, right? You had this candle close here, not within, I mean, not below the wicks, but within the wicks. But it was still lower than the body close, right? So it was the lowest candle close we've had. We then got a clean retest of this previous level of support, and then we broke the low and all the clean candles. So you need to just be a little bit careful with that, I suppose. And it was a very clean break. The fact that we're starting to form this bearish candle now, if it closes in 14 minutes. Just need to be careful of that. But you are a good trader from what I've seen, so I definitely think you'll know how to manage that and that sort of thing. Still haven't finished breaking down GJ for you guys. we are, obviously I have a very bullish bias on GJ, guys. So if we go to the weekly, bullish in market structure, daily, we've been bullish in market structure since this point up here. So this you haven't even had to worry about a structural flip on the daily in a very long time. We'll only be bearish with a candle close below that area over there. 2v0. 4 hour, we are, had our low over here, new high. Now we have a, let me just mark out the high of that with a precise ray. Yeah, now we have a new high. So this is now classified as our new high, and this is going to be the area which transitions structure bearish. So we are bullish on the 4 hour as well until we get below this area down here, because that's our 2 candle pullback. And then if we drop down to the 1 hour, what I had marked in earlier was obviously this point over here and this point over here. And then I'm waiting for price to either break out of this range that we're currently in. I'm not interested at all in taking these sells into this clear range. I know there's a good chance that we could come down and take some sells, but what then I would be looking at is us to come down to a previous level of support. So it'll end up looking something like this, exactly what we did yesterday, and then move our way back up. And what I mean by exactly what we did yesterday, as you can see here, we had the strong bullish momentum. We had this breakdown. So this basically a pullback. This was all counter trend. We need to realize that. We came down to a previous level of support. As you can see, we rejected that support because we're in a bullish trend, bullish market structure. The buys back up to the highs were so simple. Very, very simple. This was all counter trend. Anyone taking those sells. So again, we could have the exact same thing happen today where we come down into this region and then start moving our way back up, or we're just going to continue straight up. I have that long-term hold in, so I'm quite interested in just breaking straight through. If we look at the 4 hour, we obviously have some chop to the left over here on the higher time frames that is clean. So I'm just basing that, my trade is purely based on the higher time frames. And obviously if I'm going to take something intraday today, so like a short-term hold, I'm still only looking for buys. Not consistent with profits yet? To be honest, it'll come. It takes time. Consistency is obviously something that all traders are trying to achieve, but it just takes time and it'll come in your own time. So as long as you identify why you aren't profitable yet, so if that is because of over trading, over risking, not managing risk, you need to identify exactly what the reasoning is for you not being profitable, and then you need to see to those issues. That's your only way to profitability. Because, like I said, I can see technically you know exactly what you're doing. And that's why I always say to, especially anyone, all the members and all that sort of stuff, I say technicals is 40% of trading. The other 60% is purely psychological. Simple as that. Just gonna type in some possibilities here, guys. Please remember to leave a like on the stream if you haven't, guys, and subscribe if you're unsubscribed. If you are interested in looking at a bit of a GJ breakdown, I did post a video yesterday. It's also in the Telegram group, which is in the description, as well as the Instagram, if you guys want to follow or join that. So we're looking for potential buys above this level. I know some people will be looking for sells below this level, so I will just put it in, but I'm going to put here potential very risky sells. Or risky sells. And the reason why they're very risky, obviously, guys, is because they counter trend. Simple as that. See how gold's doing. So yeah, this is a nice little wick down. If we do continue to break the highs, I do see why we can continue bullish. For sure. Just got to be patient with the right candle formations. We're also forming weak resistances. Good morning, Sharif. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Seems I see you have sent a chart. Sorry, I didn't check this out earlier. You sent 2 charts here. Let's check your first one out. We have... This is gold US... Yeah, gold. Sent 2 charts. Yeah, I'm checking now. So, yeah, potential sells below this region. The reason why it would also make a little bit of sense and it wouldn't be so counter trend is because you have this 2 candle pullback which created the high, so we will be bearish, more bearish in market structure by that point. So if we get back below the 1775, what you guys need to look at in gold and take into consideration is this weekly level rejection. People did expect that we were going to come down to this weekly support level, but that is exactly where we wicked down into yesterday with the news, and we rejected that exact area. So that means now there's a good chance of bullish continuation. The whole weekly has flipped bullish now. We made this whole bearish push, and now this is a rejection of a very key level. So you need to be very aware of that. We rejected a weekly support. So now all you need to see is on the lower time frames, the candle confirmations to take obviously entries back up. We are also still in this daily range. So we were on track yesterday if we had continued that bearish momentum to get a close below the daily range. But as you can see, all we did was wick out of it with the news, come straight back into it and close back in the range. So basically like a short-term fake out. What you can be looking for now is obviously if that is a rejection of the weekly support and we obviously don't get some strong dollar news or anything throughout the next few days or weeks, we can expect gold to continue bullish just because of that weekly support rejection. That's just thinking long term. Short term, you gotta just play what's in front of you type thing. It's weekly up nicely now, so if you are obviously in the early gold buys, should not be looking too bad. In the end, I think that I will wait the current. Yeah, wait for that volume to come through London, and then there should be a nice push. GJ, we're still in this range, of course, not fantastic, but not much we can do about it. We do have a little bit of clean range. I was looking earlier. It was only about 10 pips or so up until this level over here. So if at London we do get that push, this could be a nice impulse entry up till this 151.579 area with the bullish market structure. It would make a lot of sense. Further buys from that point would obviously be anywhere above. You would need to see a candle close anywhere above these levels. You can see how many rejection wicks there are in this area, meaning that a candle close above all these rejection wicks or just within these rejection wicks means it will be the highest closing candle, and we can probably continue the bullish run up until this level, 151.800. Still holding my runners from yesterday in gold, silver, and GJ. Amazing, absolutely amazing. If you can hold runners overnight, that's yeah, awesome. So keep it up, GJ. I'm holding that long-term buy on GJ. So Zeems, I like the chart, I like the idea. Safe potential buys above 1794. I think I was also looking at that. I have 1793 marked in, so it could just be different price providers. There's a nice range above there. I saw there's clean candles to the left, so yep, brilliant. We have bullish, 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 bullish. Let me just see. I do think that, was it the 4 hour is still bearish in market structure. Yeah, we are currently still bearish in market structure on the 4 hour Zeem, so you just need to be aware of that. This is our low over here. We have not got a candle close below that point, and this is a point which created it. We have not got a candle close below that point, so we are still bearish in market structure. So it's actually a 3v1 bullish. So of course, still in favor of the buyers. There are still currently there is more buyers pressure in the market, but we are more bullish than bearish. But you need to remember the 4 hour is still currently bearish until we get a candle close above this point up here. Hope that does help out and make sense. Other than that, perfect chart. I like it. Nice and clean. I see your charts are getting cleaner. You don't have these huge zones in them anymore. These you could still clean up a little bit, but yeah, other than that, it's looking really nice. If anyone else has any charts, please do send them through. If you want me to check out any pairs or anything like that, yeah. But I do like the idea, Alessandro, of waiting for a candle close above this 1785 level. it'll add a lot more confirmation. Not getting much on GJ at the moment, guys. UJ, I'll check out UJ. GU looks nice for sells. Okay, so we got a few chart requests here. I'll check out UJ, then I'll check out GU. Okay, so we'll break it down from the weekly. Yo, this is some old stuff here. Okay, weekly, obviously we're bullish in market structure. Daily, we are still bullish in market structure on the daily. This was our high. This was our pullback, which created the high. We did not get a candle close. As you can see, we marked that out precisely with a ray. We did not get a candle close below that level, making us still bullish until we get a candle close below that level. So we're still bullish, 2v0 bullish. You can see yesterday we also closed above a daily resistance level, which is quite important. We also have all these clean candles to the left up until this point, meaning that UJs could start pushing bullish based on technicals, because we have obviously now, we had established this range, which you can see here. We have now had a candle close outside of that range. So unless we fake out, so unless this candle comes and closes straight back here, then we'll retest the bottom of the range. If we get a retest of the zone on the lower time frames and a break of this candle high, there's a good chance that by maybe the end of the week or the end of next week, obviously volume dependent, we could see ourselves back up at this 115 level. Obviously we're going to need to drop down to the lower time frames to establish a better idea of where we can find entries. We were ranging on the 4 hour as well, which was these 4 hour candles make up that daily range. Got a nice 4 hour close above there as well. The structure on the 4 hour is currently, with this candle close up here, we are bullish as well. So that's 3VO bullish. And on the 30 minute now is when we'll obviously have to identify some lower time frame resistances. So as you can see, we're ranging on the 30 minute. But if we're going to be looking for buys, we're going to be looking for some clean candles to the left here. So you can maybe target areas over here, here, and here. So I would only be looking for buys on GJ based on this. Need to be aware this is our high that we've created. This is the area which created the high. So we'll only be bearish below this level. So at the moment, it is a 4VO bullish market. Again, not saying that you cannot sell in this market, but what I am saying is that we are in a buyer's market, so there's more buyer's pressure. Let me check out GE for you, Zeeps. Does anyone have NFTs? Vested in one. You sent a GE chart, okay, that way I can just check it for you. Okay. 3v1 sellers. Looking at the selling range, perfect. 47 pip range as well of clear traffic. This was obviously the news that we had yesterday, I'm assuming, that caused a strong bullish push. Because the dollar did increase in value yesterday. And yeah, sells below that point do make a lot of sense. So if you do get the right candle confirmations, definitely go for it. But you just gotta wait. You have 3 NFTs, beautiful. Honestly, NFTs seem like they're on the path up. Should I know Forex like I know my crypto? I mean, that's the thing, everyone specializes in their own thing. So you'll get there though. If you just put the time that you put into crypto, let's say into Forex, you'll easily be able to achieve that. I don't really see nice buying range on GU. Well, if you're in a 3v1 seller's market, you probably don't want to be buying GU. You want to wait for a structural flip, clean move to be made, and then you can continue. You won 3 NFTs. Lucky man. At the moment, we're just waiting, guys. It's a it is a, how long here? Okay, we've already had London open. So yeah, we have London open right now, guys. Not a lot of volume has come into the market. Like I said, we're coming towards that time of the year when even London open and that sort of stuff really does start to slow down. So banks are soon going to be going on holiday, I think on the 17th eventually. And then it will really slow down. Again, on the weekly, got these long-term holds. Entry was at the break of the previous weekly high. So this is going to be a swing trade. And I'm going to be expecting price to come up to levels like 152,458 around there. Lowered the lot size, of course. Yeah, very, very slow open today, Troy. It's alright though, because if we do range during London, there's a good chance that during New York or in between New York and London, we'll get a little bit of movement. And if we are going to get buy continuations, guys, I would love to see something above 151,617. From this point here, we do have a lot of range to trade into. A lot better than this current situation where if we break above here, we're going to have to, well, you're not going to have to, but if you want to, it's more or less going to be an impulse entry above this level. There currently is no bottom wick. How long have you been trading? Been looking at charts and stuff for over 5 years. Been actively trading for about three or so. Just over. But yeah, I've been looking at charts for a really, really long time. Similar to everyone though, or a lot of people in Forex, I've tried like different styles of trading, all that sort of stuff. At the beginning, messed around a little bit like most people do. And then honestly what it is, and if you guys are like in that sort of mindset of, you know, this one isn't working for me, let me try a different style, just stick with one for 6 months to a year. And that's going to make all the difference. If you haven't tried a trading style, let's say if it's trend lines, price action, support and resistance, if you haven't stuck to that for more than 6 months, you cannot technically say that it does not work for you. You need to understand that you have to stick to something for a long time. So yeah. GU, still just messing around. This is not a great open, to be honest. We are coming up to possible buying range at the moment. There's a Zoom call for members at NY session, yes. If people are around, that is. At the moment, there's a lot of members who are away. So there's a Zoom link that goes into one of the channels on the website if you're a member, and then whoever's available can just join that. Yeah, Alessandro, if you are still here, this is why we wait for these sorts of candle closes. Because this wasn't a strong enough confirmation that we are going to continue bullish. GJ, on the other hand, could. Probably part of the reason why I won't take this impulse entry over here, guys, is because I still have that long-term trade in. So I have that entry from, it was about here, 151, 124. And that is going to be held probably for most of December. And the only thing that's going to mess it up, like I say, guys, is the fundamentals which are happening later today. So we're very bullish in market structure. But if we get some really bad pound news later, then there's going to be some problems, of course. Like the way you break the charts down, been trading a long time, and many people break them down like you. Thank you so much, Troy. I do appreciate the words. On it, yeah, it's just once you get a style that works for you and you dedicate enough time into it, and you know, if it's simplistic enough, honestly, that's one thing that people tell me all the time, is that they come from like these different styles of trading where there's like 50 different things on your screen, and like marking out your charts, you need like 10 different lines. And when they start being introduced to this style of trading, so basic price action with support and resistance and structure, the first thing they say is, wow, it looks so easy and like so simple. And I think part of the scary part about trading is how hard it looks if you have no idea what a chart is. Whereas if someone comes to a chart that looks nice and simple like this, you have your obviously support and resistances marked out, you're going to have a less intimidating introduction to it. So that does help out, of course. So yeah, this is now a little bit of volume coming into market. Like I said, guys, I didn't take this impulse entry. For me, I kind of just have this long-term hold in, and I'm just going to let that play out for now, unless I see a really nice intraday setup. So a candle close above this level up here would be perfect, and then continuation buys. Or what I'm going to be looking for is, say we get now this strong move, the strong bullish move, I'll wait for a pullback. What I did yesterday on gold, waited for a pullback, wait for some minor resistance to form within a support, and then retest the highs, and then we can continue up. That'll both play into my intraday kind of trading needs, and then it'll also be benefiting my long-term hold as well. Price action is the only way to go? Correct. And I don't think anyone can ever convince me differently. You get some people trading 50 indicators, all lagging indicators, by the way, meaning that they only produce facts or digits based on price that's already moved, which, I mean, I think you could use your eyes to determine whether something's bullish or bearish. And yeah, 50 different lines as well. Price action is definitely the best. I'm looking at 5 minutes, wait for some new resistance. Let's see on the 5 minute here. I mean, we got the 5 minute candle close above, but we do not have, again, we don't have a lot of trading range to trade into. So I'm happy to wait for either this to make a nice clean move for us to then pull back later and continue bullish, or for this to get up above this level up here and then look for continuation. So only problem with that is that's going to be buying at the highs again. So we could have something like this where we push up a little bit, then we come down, and then we get that move later on back up to the highs. Oh, on gold, let me check gold. Yeah, gold shuffling up. It doesn't quite want to, let me check here. 5 minutes. Yeah, it's forming some resistance. Again, it's respecting this resistance level though, I suppose. Just gotta wait. I'd love to see a 30-minute candle close above this level, because like I said, we definitely have the trading range to continue bullish. And especially now with a 3v1 bullish bias, buyers are making a lot more sense on gold than previous moves like this move over here. These moves made a lot more sense because now we had this close above this level, so we're back to a 3v1 bullish market structure. So just gotta wait on gold a little bit. GJ, yeah, just be careful with these impulses if you did take the impulse above this level here. Also, the problem with that is, remember guys, if you're basing your stop loss on a technical level, it's going to have to be under the current candle, so it's going to be about a 12 pip stop loss. You're going to want to manage that risk, and by taking the trade on the impulse like that, there's not a lot of places to manage risk. Obviously, you could look at closing half if we break back below this level, because then we're not respecting 5-minute lows, and we know in a buy, you want to be respecting 5-minute lows, and a sell, you want to be respecting 5-minute highs. So these are areas I look to close half of my position or close partials based on drawdown. That's how you keep your losses small and don't lose nearly as much as you had initially planned to with your set stop loss. Because like I always tell you guys, you never want to have a stop loss set to, let's say I could lose X amount, so 1,000. You never want to be happy with losing that full 1,000. What you'd rather do is scale out of the position and let's say only lose 500 of that 1,000. That way you've managed risk, and the percentage risk that you've provided, okay, GJ is just going, is a lot less. That's just a little bit of risk management 101. Also an incredibly important aspect when it comes to trading. Moving nicely bullish here. What these big moves do is they provide us with big moves later. My current position, my current swing position is up about, well, at that point was up about 40 pips. So I'm probably gonna end up securing like some of the position on the way up. It's obviously, like I said, based on the weekly, so I'll probably end up securing some at 60, not 60, about 100 pips around there. It'll be a nice little, I think I'll put the position on here. So yeah, this is my position, guys, based on the weekly time frame. Took it at the break of the previous weekly high, targeting the next previous support, so above the previous clean candles. Next previous resistance above the previous clean candles, and yeah, hoping for the best. The reasoning for the swing trade was explained at the beginning of the stream, so if anyone is interested in why this was taken, it's all explained. Basically plays into structure and candle confirmations. Yeah, up on GJ. Did you take the impulse entry, Zeems? I'm assuming. Anyone who did take the impulse entry should be about 10 pips at this point. 9, yeah, about 10 now. 10 pips, yeah. So start securing Zeems. If you're up, you know what happened yesterday. You did not secure profits when you're up. I would suggest securing profits at plus 10 pips and moving your stop loss to break even. That way your trade is running risk-free and you're not worrying about losing possible profits. Oh, the swing? Yeah, the swing at the moment, I don't know, that's going to be maybe 60, coming up to 50, 60 pips for me on the swing. Let's see. 47 pips on the swing. I mean, it has the potential to do the full 200 pips or whatever we were looking at yesterday, but I would not be able to be happy with myself if I saw myself in 150 pips profit and then it comes back to entry. So I'd rather just secure, even if it's half of the position. I opened, if anyone is interested, I opened a 5 lot instead of my normal lot size. So definitely scaled back on the lot size because obviously the stop loss is so much bigger. So I'm risking a lot more. But I still wanted to obviously get return, good enough return on the trade where it was worth the risk. Gonna close at 100 pips. I'll probably close 2.5 lots at 100 pips and I will leave another 2.5 lots to run. At that point, I will most definitely have my stop loss at break even though. At this point, I've already been trailing my stop loss up. So it was below the previous weekly, but now it's definitely coming up a little bit. You can start basing it on 4 hours and daily lows instead of weekly lows or that sort of idea. If anyone did take this impulse entry, very well done. If you didn't, don't worry about it. Don't have any FOMO. Don't try get in the move up at the top here and think, okay, we've broken into another area of clean traffic. Now that means we're going to continue. Doesn't mean that at all. What we are likely to see is obviously we're going to push up a little bit, get some exhaustion, and then we can start making our way back up towards the highs and create new highs. The leg we want to be involved on is obviously going to be that second strong push, because then we're going to be buying at the lows in our uptrending market. Once you've already created a high, that's what you want to be looking for. And even if this does just push through, it is guaranteed that there is going to be a bit of exhaustion at some point today. And that's where you got to know how to capitalize. Took the trade, well done, Luke. Nice impulse. Should be up really nicely if you did take it above this zone. 16 pips. Should be securing. Please do GC. GC. You're going to have to tell me what that is. I've never traded GC in my life. Is that pound Canadian? GBP CAD. Yeah, never traded this pair in my life. Okay. Can work something out though. And this just shows, guys, you can literally, once you understand technical analysis and structure properly, you can take on any pair in the world, any chart, and have a full understanding just by marking out zones and having a structural idea what you want to see, buys or sells. So we can see here, weekly, we've basically formed a weekly support, so we're bullish in market structure on the weekly because of the current weekly candle. On the daily, we are currently bearish in market structure because this is our low created by this point up here. We have not had a candle close above that. So 1v1 yesterday, we also formed some daily resistance. Then we're going to drop down to the 4 hour, and you can see now we're at a 4 hour previous level of 4 hour support, and we have our previous level of 4 hour resistance about here, which is also at a, you know, it's rejecting at a previous level of resistance, so it makes sense why it's rejecting that level. The structure currently on the 4 hour, this is our low that we had down here. Structure would have flipped above there, this is our high. So we're bullish in market structure until technically down here. So it's a 2v1 bullish market right now. And we can start looking at marking in zones on the 4 hour, but ideally we're going to have to do it on like 30 minutes. You can see on the 30 minutes we're also going to be bullish in market structure. By the looks of it, this is our high over here. This is what formed the high. Oh, we actually did, so we are bearish. So it's a 2v2. This is our new low until we get above here. So 2v2 buyers, sellers, so buyers or sells could more or less play out. We have this support currently forming on the 30 minutes. I would say safe buys would come above this level over here more or less, because that would be where the structure flip is happening. And sells below this level would also make sense. We have clean candles to the left. You would just have to check the ranges. I'm not too sure about the ranges. But these would be your two areas. Obviously, you got this range to trade into here, which we're currently in. Not really a range, but we could start doing this within this area, which you want to be careful of. But at the moment, it's equal market buys. You can buy it or sell it because it's a 2v2. It's not being controlled by one or the other. If you want to wait for safer trades, you would wait for one or the other to take over. So you'd wait for us to flip bullish above this level. Then we would have a 3v1 bullish market. And then trades buys above this level would make a lot more sense. And then maybe even break that 4 hour resistance level and continue bullish on the 4 hour. If we go back to the daily, you can see we've already made this strong daily push back up. So that is a brand new pair which I've never even looked at before. No worries in him. Still moving nicely on GJ for anyone who was in the trade. Yeah, GJ is moving very nicely. Please guys, do remember to leave a like on the stream and subscribe if you haven't. Also join the free Telegram and follow the free Instagram on the links are in the description. Stop loss at break even. Beautiful. That's what I like to hear. Did you get the entry, Luke, right at the break of the previous area of resistance? Or did you get it a bit later? Either way, anything just above here is good. Closed off on GJ. Nice, seems. My swing position right now. Let's see how much we're up. 52 pips. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. What made it a lot easier to take, guys, as well is the market structure. Just having that 4v0 market structure, meaning that the buyer's pressure is so much greater in the overall market, the bigger picture, and on the higher time frames, made the buys, you know, so the long-term buys, and why I'm confident in holding these long-term buys made it a lot easier. And like this push that we're getting now is beautiful. Because although I'm not in an intraday trade, because I'm in the swing trade, this is still benefiting me in the long run. You got in at 151.534. 534. That is quite a late entry. That's halfway up our trading range. So you need to be, or maybe what you can work on now is trying to get that, having the confidence to get that optimal entry as you break, rather than the midway up the trading range. Because if you are going to take impulse entries, in, especially into small ranges, you want to get basically a pip above the high of the resistance. Gold's also moving, yeah, but you see the problem with gold right now is we need some more candle confirmations. This candle's closing in 6 minutes. If we don't kill the whole trading range and we get a nice 30-minute candle close basically above this zone over here, what we could be looking for is this candle close, wick down, and buy up to 1788. Took profits on this morning's GJ move, still holding runner. Yeah, very, very nice trade, Troy. Good stuff in securing profits, because at the end of the day, you can never become a profitable trader without securing profits. And those people trying to hold moves for like hundreds of pips, I know I'm in a swing trade right now, but those holding moves for hundreds of pips on the regular and never securing, and then you see X amount of profits and you come back into losses, it just, to me, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, well done to everyone who took GJ this morning. Very, very nice impulse entry. I was obviously a bit worried about the lack of volume because the way it did open, you'll see that first 5-minute candle, nothing really happened, and then we came and had a candle close above, wick down, and continued the push up. By structural bias and technicals, made a lot of sense. Also had this clean range to trade into over here. Another issue on it as well, though, which kind of put me off taking this trade, was no bottom wick, so the stop loss was literally going to have to be placed above this, below this area, and you know how candles work 90% of the time, we have a top and a bottom wick. So if we haven't created a bottom wick by the time we get to here, and you're basing it off of that idea that most of the time it does, you can think that, okay, at any point it can create a bottom wick, and if your stop loss is below the current candle low, then you're going to get stopped out. Because if you look at every candle on here, you can spot a top and a bottom wick on, yeah, about 80 to 90% of them. Really nice push happening now on GJ. More swing trader, but you still have to, yeah, exactly. You have to have, no matter if you're a day trader or a swing trader, you have to have levels where you are securing profits. Otherwise, you're just never going to be profitable. Completely agree. Just as a matter of interest, as a swing trader, do you ever move your stop loss to break even? Or like once you've secured your profits, or do you just leave your stop loss as is? Because as you, like, well, I don't know if you've been able to tell, but over the past few streams, you know, that's something that as day traders, it's essential that once you hit your first TP, your stop loss goes straight to break even, just so that you're not playing with any of your profits. GJ, this, yeah, beautiful push on GJ, guys. People's runners should be up at least 20 pips by now. If you got nice entries, yeah, 21 pips at the high there. Okay. Yeah, moving stop loss into profits is of course the ultimate goal. I've just heard too many stories of people who go into a trade and they place a stop loss and a TP, and what they say, like, it is what it is type thing, where if it hits the one, it hits the one, if it hits the other, it hits the other. And those are your type of traders who will sit as break even, and negative traders blowing accounts on the daily forever until they understand. Please remember to subscribe, guys, if you haven't subscribed, or if you are new to the channel. It definitely does help. Trading stop loss, yeah, gotta trail that stop loss. Gold again with another rejection from this area. Just the importance of waiting for that candle close, guys. Just want to see something like this, and then I'll be happy to take buys, short-term buys. Up till 1788, we have that clean range to trade into. It looks good on the 1 hour as well as the 30-minute. You can see here on the 30 minutes, got these clean candles to trade into. It is also a previous area of consolidation. So once we get into that zone, we might start chopping around, just based on how price action works. If we go up to the 1 hour, you can see it's also clean candles on the 1 hour. And again, the higher time frames hold more relevance and importance, more or less. If we can, okay, it's going to be 30 minutes until this 1 hour candle closes, but as you can see, this 1 hour candle also doesn't have a bottom wick. Something to take into consideration, and this, again, another rejection wick to the top side does not help. If you guys have any charts or anything, please send them through. I can do some analysis as well if you guys want to send through any pairs. I've done quite a few GC. First time doing GC today. Yeah, and a few others. And please, guys, if you did get this, sorry, if you didn't get this move on gold, not gold, GJ, please wait for something like this, where we get this pullback to a previous level of resistance or a previous level of support. So down here, form that support again at that previous level, and then let's all get the buys back up to the top. Let's not be the crumb hunters like we talked about yesterday and be thinking now, sure, I wish I had taken those buys, let me quickly scale in now, because that's going to lead to some serious issues. A whole part of the risk about being a impulse or taking an impulse trade is getting in at literally the immediate break of a zone. There, I'll check out 151.800 now. So on GJ, let me just mark this out as our current high so we can see what it's looking like to the left. If it would let me select this tool. Okay, so you can see here, obviously we have this resistance level coming up. I personally think that above this level over here, depending on how strong we're actually going to push bullish today, above 151.920, of course, is going to give us great opportunity with those clean candles to the left over there. Going to have to, well, it is still going to be a while till we get to that area. Rejection wise, on the 30 minute, you can see we have this long rejection wick over here that we're coming to trade into now. So we're probably going to have to, what I'm looking for on GJ, and the only thing I am looking for right now, if I'm going to take an intraday trade, guys, so a short-term trade, is a pullback and then a buy up to the top. I'm not looking for any buys above like higher levels right now. I just want to see a pullback. Some support form at a previous level of support, because at this present moment it looks like there's literally no sellers pressure in the market. And by that I don't mean there's not going to be bearish candles forming, but there's not going to be significant bearish moves, because our structure is so bullish. And again, the only thing that can change that is if we go to the fundamentals, the news coming out today, we have these incredibly high impact pound folders. Now the prediction numbers are literally the exact same as the previous time that this news came out. But again, I think I literally say it every stream. Forex Factory has a reputation of fugazi numbers. These numbers have sometimes been so wrong, it's frightening. So I wouldn't base it off of that. Sometimes with the news, you just got to play it as you see it. So if they are right today, which I'll be surprised if they are, then nothing's going to happen, and we're going to continue with the current structural bias, which is moving bullish. So that's what we'll be waiting for. I can take this away now. But yeah, above 151,920 is going to be where the next big moves, like clean moves to making new highs, is probably going to come. Otherwise, now we've kind of made that big move. We've created this new high over here. And now let's try come maybe down to this level of previous support and then move bullish. Or we can come down to this level of support and it gives us even more range to test the tops again. And then what that normally does is then creates new highs, and that's when we can come up to the higher levels. So for any of the crumb hunters or the people with their FOMO who saw halfway up this candle that, geez, this would have been my trade of the week type thing, and the correct entry level was probably over here. Let me just turn this magnet off. This was the correct level of entry, and now they're scaling into positions up here. Like, you need to change your trading psychology. It's as simple as that, to be honest. You need to understand that just because a big moves happen doesn't mean it's time to hop in at the later stages because you've missed out or were too scared to take the original impulse entry. Impulse entries are high risk, high reward. But taking a late impulse entry is like just account suicide, basically. Perfect example of this was yesterday, guys. We had this strong bullish push. Now, for anyone who missed out on the original buys, I said this on stream and during the London stream yesterday, wait for a pullback, and I said it on gold as well. Once we get this pullback, we'll still continue our bullish market momentum because we are so firmly in a bullish market. And that's exactly what happened. We got this pullback. This gave us even better entry points than previously, let's say, taking buys at the break of this high. This gave us the best possible entry points to retest the highs and create new highs. Exactly what we did. Now let's wait to do the exact same thing where we come up to this point over here, create a pullback, and buy it back up to the top. Trade with the structure. And for anyone thinking of taking a sell now, best of luck. Playing games with your account. Again, if you're new here, guys, please like and subscribe. Helps a lot. There's free Telegram and free Instagram. I promote this 10 times a stream at least. If you would like to chat about anything trading, talk about anything trading, any of that stuff. Gold, finally moving up on gold. Again, the 30-minute candle though, for anyone looking at gold buys, did not close above the previous 30-minute resistance. We're kind of stuck in this like minor range. So on the smaller time frames, it's going to be like a range. So you can see we're just shuffling up. So wait for a clean break. Gold's made a lot of big moves over the past few days. So if you're just patient enough, you'll get those big moves. You'll be able to be part of that bigger move. Long term, we are of course looking very bullish on GJ, guys. For anyone who hasn't already looked at like the structure of GJ and been taken into consideration weekly timeframes and things like that, I'll just remove all this stuff. Let me do a quick breakdown. We are on a very strong weekly support level. Rejected it a lot of times before. Last week we respected that support level and formed some more support. This was our weekly range over here. You can see we respected that range, and normally when you respect range, you kind of just bounce in between it, right? So we respected the previous weekly candle low. We did that 2 weeks in a row. Now we've broken the previous weekly candle high. We have clean weekly candles up to this weekly resistance level. Now what that tells us is by respecting the low, so the candle formations being within this weekly range as well, and breaking the high, there's a good chance that in the long run, so looking at the bigger picture, we can come up to this weekly resistance level and possibly even further. Now, of course, it's not just going to go in one move, but if you look at long-term trades, a great entry, and where I got my entry for a buy position was at the break of this weekly high. It's currently up about 60 pips this position. So I am taking it as a swing trade, and the reason why I took a swing trade now was because coming into December market conditions, day trading opportunities are going to be less because the banks are all going on holiday. So if you trade with the structure during a time of low volume, in the long run, you'll be hoping that the overall structural market conditions will play out in your favor and you can come up to these sorts of levels. So at the moment, very, very nice. Looking very good. My entry level was above over here, roughly. Stop loss, of course, if you're going to put your stop loss at a technical level, your position is going to look something like this with your stop loss below the current weekly low. And then my overall TP is at about this level over here at 154. So very far way away, 300 pips. Profits will, of course, be secured at other levels. But on the daily, it's looking amazing right now. Very, very happy with this position. If we can clear all these wicks on the left here, there's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't continue bullish. This is our only hindrance right now, and we're kind of working our way through getting through those points. I'll probably be looking at securing profits, some profits at that point over here. Because as you can see, we might have a rejection at this wick. So that's about 78 pips away. And it looks like we are still continuing to push bullish. Especially on the 1 hour, 30 minutes as well. We wicked down and broke the high. Again, we've made a huge push. I'm not interested at all in these buys. I got my optimal buy entry, and I will be waiting if I'm going to take an intraday trade for a pullback and then buy up back up to the high. Very simple. I have no FOMO at all right now. Also lowered the risk a lot, guys, on the day trade, because obviously on the swing trade, because the position, the stop loss is so much bigger. So obviously the bigger your position, the bigger the loss, or the bigger the risk that you put on the table. This was our previous range on GJ. So we could come back down to the levels that I kind of want to see us reject that and come back down to are probably levels like here and lower. And then start working our way back up. These are where I'm looking at as our possible rejection levels is obviously to reject at this price up here. And then we can probably retest these sorts of levels and then continue. Because by respecting these levels, especially on the 30-minute time frame, we maintain our bullish market structure. So remember, if this is our high up here, we are only going to flip bearish in market structure at this point here. So if we come all the way down to this point and we have a strong bearish run, everyone's going to be thinking now we're in a bearish market or bearish, all the sellers are coming. But what it could be doing is just sellers driving the price down for then buyers to have a more optimal entry to go back up. That's how you got to look at it in the bigger picture. And then we are still maintaining that bullish market structure. And again, with me, my most important thing is market structure. Always want to be trading with the trend, as they say. Depending on how things go, guys, probably about another 20-30 minutes here, and then we will call it a day. I don't know if I'm going to be able to trade London to New York today. I'm not 100% sure yet. Trend is your friend, exactly. Made some nice bread money. Beautiful. Money is money at the end of the day. Well done, Luke. Because I think it was you that said you missed the entries yesterday, so it's good to see that you got the entries today and that you managed to get some profits. And well done on securing profits as well. It's great to see. Zeems as well done in taking the trade. I know yours was more of a swing trade, but important that you did secure profits. Very, very important. My only trade for today, yeah, beautiful. Took a winning trade. Just always remember the markets owe you absolutely nothing. So if you do take money from the markets, call it a day. No need to now have these profits and then go and lose it all type thing. Traded 0.01, doesn't matter. If you can be profitable with the 0.01, you can be profitable with most lots, or any lot size, to be honest. The problem comes when people aren't profitable with the 0.01 and they think as soon as they start using full lots, so 1 lot, 5 lots, 10 lots, that all of a sudden that's the whole reason why they're not profitable. And then again, that's another one of the many misconceptions in the Forex industry, is that the bigger your account, the more you can trade with, the more profitable you're going to be. All that means is that's more money that you're going to have to ask the bank for once you blow 5 accounts, If you can't do it with a 0.01, you can't do it with a 1. That is as simple as it is to say. Because how you got to think about it is your greed isn't going to change whether you're making $1,000 or $100, because you see yourself making $1,000 and you start thinking that could be 5,000. Same as if you're trading at 0.01 and you're making 5 Rand and you think, yo, that could be 50. It's all the same psychologically. It's just different numbers. And the person who talks about the best, honestly, guys, is Roger Banks. He started instilling the mindset into people that, trade 1 to 2 pairs, take 1 to 2 trades a day, and trade 1 session. You simplify trading to suit you, and things just magically start to work out. That is like the magic recipe for trading, for Forex. Is just simplify it. Don't try to trade 50 pairs, because it's like when you go to school or university. If you had the option of taking 2 subjects or 10 subjects, and they say, okay, by the end of this amount of time, if you take the 2 or the 10, which are you going to be able to understand better? Of course, it's going to be the 2, because you're going to have more time to dedicate to those 2. Whereas if you trade 2 pairs, you're going to know exactly how those 2 pair works. I know exactly how GJ and Gold work because I've been trading them for so long, and I've only focused on them. Whereas some people trade every exotic pair under the sun, and their watch list is 5 of these. And they have no idea how a pair actually moves. And then sessions, you get to understand how a session works. That's why I mainly trade London. I will only trade New York if I don't get a trade during London. London is my main session because price moves differently during London than it does in New York. And you get to learn that. And then 1 to 2 trades a day, what that does is that stops overtrading. So let's say you take your 1 loss, you call it a day. You say, okay, I've risked my set amount of percentage, or let's say you even lose less, that's even better. Because then the day that you do take the win, it's going to be double your loss. And then once you take your win, if you're going to take another trade in that day, so you are going to risk a little bit of your profits, lower your lot size. That's what I usually do. And these are all the psychologicals of trading, guys. That guy who's promising you the Ferrari is not telling you about. He's just telling you how much money you can make off of your $1,000 or your $1,000. He's telling you in 2 months you're going to have your AMG Mercedes-Benz. That's how frightening it is. And people buy into that stuff. And sometimes, to be honest, realism and being realistic about Forex is tough, I posted a long rant about it last night on Instagram. basically saying, why should Forex be taken any differently to a degree or something like that? Do you guys ever see a lawyer or an accountant or something waltz into an office or a firm and say, give me every case because I'm going to go win all the cases? Nope. They'll get laughed at. They'll get told, who do you think you are? You know, get out of our building. Forex is literally no different. What you have to do as a lawyer, you have to understand law. You have to acquire the knowledge, study, pass exams, go get some experience, and then you can get a job. Forex is literally no different. You need to study the markets. You need to understand technicals, fundamentals. You need to have some real market experience, and then you can start being a Forex trader. It's no different. People think, though, because of the BS they get fed on Instagram, that you're going to come into this industry and you're going to take over and you're going to be the next youngest millionaire in your country. You're going to be that 20-year-old millionaire, you know? But people don't understand. You have to invest money into this. You can't do... Okay, you can benefit a lot from free stuff over YouTube. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of free content on YouTube. This right here is basically what I'm talking about, and Roger Banks, Matt Todd, and all that stuff. The realistic traders. You can get a lot out of that, but in the long run, you're going to have to invest into it to get something out of it. Where's your Bentley? Exactly. You have, and then you get some of the stuff you see on YouTube, to be honest. Like, I'm not even going to mention their names, to be honest, but these American traders from Miami, and every video every week is basically how my Forex strategy bought me 2 new Lambos or 2 new Rolls Royces or 2 new Bentleys in the last 2 weeks. And their little followers and all that sort of stuff, their fan base actually believes that, which is the saddest thing to think about. And yeah, they just need to wake up. Because the people at the end of the day who are paying for that are those followers with the subscriptions and all that stuff. They don't know how to trade, those people. They go and they back, like they'll go in replay mode here. They'll find a perfect setup, and then they'll find the perfect setup, and they'll know how to take one setup, and then they'll play that out and post it on YouTube and title it, "This is my Forex strategy, which makes me X amount in like a day." Those guys don't live stream. They do none of that stuff. Can we do one talking about how my Forex got me 2 new Harleys? Sometimes you just got to use these sessions as a run session, guys. I'm sorry. It is sad, though. It truly is sad. I'm glad to see we are getting a move up in gold, though. In other news, did you take the trade? I didn't take any trade except for this swing trade that I'm in. Like I said, for me to take an intraday trade now, coming into these low volume times, I need to see the exact setup that I want to see, and that's going to be the pullback that I was talking about, which is, I call that a type D. Very similar to what we had here. And on gold, what I took yesterday with the sells over here. It wasn't a lot of trading range to trade into, obviously, but got a great move down to this point. It was about 17 pips. I did post about that one on Instagram as well. It's actually sad what people do on social media about Forex. It is sad, dude. It's crazy. And how so many people, they feed off desperation, because let's be real, guys. When you are desperate enough, you will buy into anything. And you will literally buy into the idea that you can have this other person's life within a matter of months or weeks, whatever they promise you, if you follow what they do and you pay them a fee. Like, that's what desperation causes people to do. It's crazy. I made enough today to give you 2 new Harley Christmas tree ornaments. Hey, fair play, fair play. GJ is pushing nicely, guys. Still continuing. Exactly that, NM. Exactly. That is what I'm trying to tell you guys. The payments for those cars are not owned by those individuals. Those cars are rented. And the reason they can rent and have a different car, different Lambo every week is because they rent it, pay it off, like pay for it for like a month with your subscription money, take it back to the rental agency and get a new one. And pay for that one with your signal money and all that stuff. It's as simple as that. They're not trading for those. They're not like making the money trading. They're making it off of selling courses. What they are is mastermind marketers. And I'll give it to them. I said it in stream last week and I said it to Zeems last night. Forex traders, these Instagram traders are not traders. They're Instagram marketers and they're masters at marketing. They've managed to convince people that in a matter of X amount of time, they can have exactly what they have. And they don't even have that stuff. Exactly what they show people that they have, which isn't even theirs. Exactly. Money for the signals pays off the cars. It pays off the houses. It pays off anything. The designer clothes, all that sort of stuff. It is honestly, and that's one thing you got to give them credit for, is they are master marketers. So I will not say that they're good traders. I'll say that they are insanely good marketers. Selling someone a lifestyle, that's what it is. And again, not just anybody, someone who's desperate, you know. I'll not advertise that I made that much money if I really did. I mean, it's perfect to show results and stuff like that. Like, you look at someone, again, I keep referring to Raja because honestly, I think Raja is one of the most transparent, if not the most transparent traders in the world, and probably up there in the top 5, top 3 best, in my opinion, the best trader. But that's because I follow him. And he shows, of course, he made last month $300K. That's a lot of money, and it's fine to show that because you know what he's achieved is awesome. But he's not putting a picture of like a Lambo or something on his thing and saying you guys can have this in a week or 2 or any amount of time if you follow what I do. That's where the problem comes in. It's fine to show people how much money you make because you know that's some people get validation out of that, and for other people, it's just like that's an achievement. But it's as soon as you start promising people the same stuff in a set amount of time. Legit masters, exactly. And to be honest with you, I'll say this honestly, I think most of us here at some stage at looking into Forex have been tempted into, like, they see something and it's like, wow. Like, I want that. And it's always in the early beginnings of anyone's Forex journey. Like, the reason that I think 99% of people get into Forex is the insane amount of money you see other people make. It's what literally ropes people in. If you chase money, you'll run away faster. Precisely. Last 15 minutes, you should go watch it back. Alessandro, there was, it was basically a rant about these fake traders who sell courses. Yeah, so Zeem, so jumping course to course is also jumping style to style, which is why I say if you can't maintain a trading style for at least 6 months to a year and claim that it's not the style for you, it doesn't work, or you can't even stick to that and give it the chance, then again, you just haven't put in the amount of time and are not willing to put in the effort with that certain thing. Same as if you become an accountant. How are you going to understand how to do accountancy work in 6 months when some people study 3 years to do that stuff? Some people study 5 years to do that stuff. And then people want to learn how to trade correctly in 2 weeks. Again, wake up. Not you guys. Like, you guys are the you guys are the good guys. But these other people, yo. Exactly, and I think that's a big thing, is the showing off of a lifestyle. There's right ways and wrong ways to do it, for sure. Accounting is what my brother's an accountant, so I know that it is tough work. It's hard graft, you know. What's your TP for the swing trade? NTP is above the previous weekly resistance level, so it's going to be here. That is my NTP. I'm going to secure at 100 pips. I'm going to secure 2.5 lots at 100 pips. I'm saying that it's like it's going to get there. I'm pretty confident it will get there. At the moment, my position is about 67 pips in profit. So I want to secure at 100. Yeah, thank you so much for being in the stream, Troy. Have a great day as well. Well done on the trades that you took. Congrats on securing and all that. Yeah, have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow. So this is what the positions. I'm just gonna check here and see how much, how many zones we're gonna be looking at to reject. Once we get above this level, to be honest, it's clean sailing. My counting average. Grade 8 to 10 is 92. Next year 20. Hey, grade 11 is where things start getting real, as they always say. Please remember to leave a like on the stream if you haven't, guys. So gold again, on this shuffle upwards. We are in overall bullish market structure, so just chilling. Yep, real estate is one of the most consistent investments you'll ever make in your life. Something you can never go wrong with, more or less. There obviously are occasions where it can go south, but it is one of the most consistent and longest like running investment sort of things people have been doing forever. Happy you're done with school for sure. The amount of freedom you get outside of school is just, you never want to go back to that being basically caged up type stuff. Okay, 1 hour, we have a candle close above the resistance level over here, guys. We obviously are at a high right now. What you would want to see is a wick down, retest of the zone, break of the high, and then possibly retest this next level of resistance. The only problem with that right now is currently we have about 14 pips of range. We've also made quite a strong bullish push already, so what you could be waiting for is maybe a pullback on the minor time frames and then bullish continuation. Looking on the 30-minute, we could get a 30-minute wick down and then a break of the previous 30-minute high. We are in this bullish market structure. Remember, we are in a 3v1 bullish market structure. So 3 of our key time frames are bullish in market structure. So buys do make sense. It's just about whether you want to take this, maybe lower your risk a little bit, and then that's how you can play it out. There's a lot of talk about a economic crash happening soon in the US. Yep, you're right about that. They happen normally once every 8 years. Of course, with COVID, things might change up a bit, but on average, they usually happen, you know, every 8 years there's a slight crash, and then things slowly start that incline to increase to a certain point again, and then the crash happens again. So just something to look at. Of course, not confirmed. But yeah, if you guys are looking at GJ, this is what I'm looking at. Of course, in the long-term trade right now, I'm looking at creating a high at a previous level of resistance, coming down to a previous level of support or resistance because we're in this bullish market, wait for some support to form, some minor resistance within that support, and then to retest the highs. That is what I'm currently looking at. I do not want to be taking GJ buys at the highs here. You want to wait for a pullback on the maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour to previous levels of support or resistance, and maintaining this bullish market structure. As long as we stay above this level here at 151, 117, we are maintaining bullish market structure, making buys the only buys you should have. And please, if you guys are tempted into taking the sells, let's say, so what I would call the pullback, please do be aware that these are counter trend sells. So basically price could reject at any point because it is counter trend. There's a lot more buyers pressure in this market than there is sellers pressure. So be aware of that, please. Yeah, if you unsubbed or haven't left a like, please do remember to do so, guys. Would appreciate it. There's also a free Telegram in the description and an Instagram channel, which I post a lot of trade analysis on, chart analysis, all that sort of stuff, if you are interested in any of that. The Telegram gets, some charts posted in it. We chat about trade ideas, that sort of thing. Just a nice way to grow the community a little bit. Gold, yeah, there's not a huge amount of volume in gold at the moment. So what might be better to do is have your zones which you're interested in trading gold later, and then wait for an NY session. GJ, if you are looking at trading GJ and you want to trade maybe some more fundamental sides of it, there's a lot of news coming up later. A lot. Bank rates, all this sort of stuff. Looking to sell stocks, okay. Just quite interested at gold at the moment, guys, because of the way that this candle's playing out. This is kind of your retest. You see we had this close above, and now we're retesting with this wick down, so maybe if we break the high, we can get a bullish continuation. Slightly risky, but we did chat about it earlier. We are in the 3v1 bullish market structure, which is what adds a little bit of confidence to it. Of course, we've got the candle formations that we want as well. We are in a pretty low volume time right now, so what you could want to wait or do is lower your lot size, lower your risk, and then obviously you manage it. You'd want to see a clear break of the previous 30-minute high, which would also be a break of the previous 1 hour high. Not just a little pop above and then dip back down. You want to see a clear break. So that's normally about a pip to a pip and a half, which we are coming up to. I forgot about a trade on Monday. You done trading for the year? Okay. Remember, guys, if you are looking at this gold trade, what you're going to want to do is have technical levels for all of your stop loss, take profit, and all that stuff. A technical level for your stop loss is, of course, going to be below the current 30 or the previous 30. A TP area, which if I was taking this trade, I would be looking at is obviously around here, because that is your next level of resistance above this current level of resistance. If you're not happy with this retest that's happened of the previous resistance level, wait for candle formations in. Wait for candles to close and form a proper break and retest, and then continuation. You gotta have every single trade meet your requirements, your checklist. Gold, GJ again, waiting for it to form that pullback for the continuation. That'll be nice to see. Thank you very much, Duncan, for subscribing. I do appreciate it. Cheers, Luke. Thank you so much for being in the stream. Have a great day as well. I will be chatting on the Telegram quite a lot about how things go today. So keep in touch on there. Have a great day though. Thanks for the stream, no problem. See you same time tomorrow. We have about another 15 minutes or so here, guys. And then I'm going to head. Again, I don't think I'm going to be able to stream New York today. Who's this guy? I'm a fund manager. Cheers, buddy. Thanks, Luca. I appreciate that. Seems. So, I don't know. Some people, bro. If we do start forming some resistance over here, guys, honestly, just wait for some more clear candle confirmations. Like I said, we had already pushed quite a lot in gold. We are in the bullish market structure, but if you have a strong push like this, exhaustion is very likely. So what it will end up looking like is you have this, let me just start it from the bottom. You have this strong push, and then you try to get these little breaks up, but it doesn't want to like do it because there's not enough volume. And then you start ranging, and then eventually you get that push that you want later on in a time of more volume. So that'll come in New York, for example. Getting or trying to form some resistance on GJ, which is telling me that there's a chance of a possible pullback, which will be great. Because then again, if we're looking for those intraday trades, guys, come down to a previous level of support and then move our way up, or a lower level of support and move our way up. And that's what we'll be looking for to take those optimal buy entries from a lower position in an uptrending market. Remember, buying at support and selling at resistance makes a lot of sense, but you need to be in the right market for it. So you don't want to buy at support in a downtrending market, and you don't want to sell at resistance in an uptrending market. Because if you sell at resistance in an uptrending market, all that's going to happen is you're going to get a little bit of a pullback and then retest the high and create new highs. How do we know it's an uptrending market? We're having high highs. The areas which created the highs are not being exceeded. You have these here. These need to be exceeded to transition us into a bearish market. Once we start exceeding these points and retesting those areas of support and turning them into resistance, then we know now we're downtrending. So we have bearish market structure. And now you don't want to be buying at support in these areas, because then you end up getting something like this where you think, okay, now we're bullish, and then you just retest the low and create a new low. And again, this is all over here. This is all counter trend, because then you come up to a previous level of resistance, which is actually where your structural flip will happen. So because it's our low, this is where the structure flip will happen. You respect that area, and then once you bounce off of that area, you continue bearish. So it's all about knowing where the key levels are, guys. Bounce is probably the wrong word. Probably respect is a better word. But I prefer using that terminology. Hope that makes sense. So buy at support in an uptrending market, sell at resistance in a downtrending market. If you're just saying buy at support and sell at resistance wherever you see it, good luck. I'll see you on your account next year. So I hope no one got faked out by the gold buys. Wait for a pullback, continuation. Again, on the weekly, guys, after the news yesterday, we rejected the previous weekly support level where we had a strong level, a strong key level of support. What we did was we came all the way down here. Now we've got this long rejection wick, and the weekly candle is now flipped bullish, indicating that we could now have some further bullish continuation, because now the lower time frames have all flipped bullish market structure. The 4 hours still bearish, the daily, weekly, and 1 hour are bullish in market structure. telling us there's more buyers pressure in the market than there is sellers pressure. Not saying that sales can't happen, not saying that bearish candles or good strong bearish candles aren't going to form, but in the overall picture we could get something like this where we come down to this point of previous support. Now we're in an uptrending market and then we start moving back up and creating new highs. So it's just all about visualizing what's going to happen before it happens and seeing moves you want to see happen, guys. That's what trading is all about. Again, I had in a long-term hold on GJ from the break of the previous weekly high. So currently up about 50 pips. I was up 70 earlier, but I'm going to be securing some profits at about 100. And then hoping to eventually get back up to this previous level of weekly resistance. Clean candles to the left, bullish market structure, candle formations were perfect. Respecting the previous level of weekly support, and we're in this weekly range, right? Simple. If you guys have, again, if you guys have any charts, please send them in. I'm probably going to be 5 more minutes. So if you have any charts or pairs you want me to analyze and have a quick look at, I'll do so quickly before I go. I don't think I'm going to be live for New York. So yeah. And please do remember to leave a like on the stream if you haven't already, guys. What you can also be looking for on gold is, because we've had this move up already, maybe we come down to this previous level of support and could start ranging here again, and then we start popping back up and continuing this bullish run. Market bias on GU is 2v2. I'll quickly check it out. Do a quick market breakdown on GU, and then that'll probably be me calling it a day. Just remove the drawings. Okay, so weekly we are bullish market structure. Daily we are bearish because this is our low. This point created the low. We will only be bullish above here until we create a new low. Then we will have a new structure flip zone. On the 4 hour, we are currently identifying the low on the 4 hour in this situation is not easy. If this is our low over here. This is yeah, we are bearish on the 4 hour by pure technicals because we have not created a new low from this area over here. So bearish in market structure. And then on the 30-minute, we are currently bullish. So that gives us a 2v2. So you're correct. Buys or sells could both work out. Just got to be patient. Wait for the right candle confirmations at that point. And again, guys, market structure is probably the most important and probably hardest to learn technical. But once you understand it correctly, you will honestly never be on the wrong side of the market. You will always be in a buyer's market with the buyers, and you'll always be in a seller's market with the sellers, and you will always know if you are entering into a counter trend trade that you are against the trend. It's just something you sign up for. And by knowing that, you can make some changes to your position, you can risk less, lower your lot size, all that sort of stuff. Because counter trend trading can be a thing, guys. You can take a counter trend trade and it can work out. It's just riskier. And when something's riskier, what should you do? Minimize risk. Otherwise, guys, it is coming up to, yeah, it's about 15:15 now. So I think I'm going to call it a day. I do appreciate everyone for watching. If you haven't already, leave a like, subscribe, free Telegram, free Instagram, all in the description. I will not be live for NY session. But please be aware that if you are trading in GJ, there's a lot of news coming up this afternoon. It's going to be just after New York. So take that into consideration. There's also some dollar news later, some unemployment claims, which has had a history of moving markets before. Quite a lot if you look at the historical data on that, if you want an idea of what it can do. So yeah, thank you so much for everyone who came to watch the stream today. Thanks for everyone new. Thanks for the subs. I do appreciate it a lot. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow, same time. Just pre-London and London Open. So yeah, have a great rest of your day, everyone. And yeah, see you tomorrow.